L5. If L is chosen by the damned, is salvation easy? If hell is chosen by the damned, then is salvation easy? We could say that our old memories of catechism tell us that paradise is a garden of wonders where milk and honey flow, where the pleasure is total. That hell is frequently portrayed as a furnace of misery, of gnashing of teeth, and of hatred. If that's so, obviously no one is going to hell. Everyone will choose the place of pleasure. In fact, this description of hell is metaphorical. It takes such issues to be adapted to carnal beings who understand by pleasures and by sorrows. But when you reflect more deeply about what is hell, of these pains in hell and of these pleasures in heaven, which are consequences, what constitutes paradise as a downside? Indeed, paradise is the choice of loving God and loving our neighbor to the point of self-contempt. This is, however, not humiliating contempt, total forgetting of oneself. We no longer count, only the other individual counts, and as a result, we find happiness. The disadvantage is, therefore, this total humility, this lowering of oneself below oneself, since what is natural for a man, it is all the same to recognize his or her qualities. Consequently, for the proud man, paradise carries a drawback. He does not like this abasement of his or her qualities which occurs in paradise. There is an advantage in hell because it consists of total and exalted freedom. We may choose good and bad. We're like God. We no longer depend upon anyone. But there is obviously a downside. It is because they despise God there and they also despise their neighbor, so that the heart is and remains empty. It is therefore necessary to love one another more than anything in order to choose such a finality. From this point, therefore, we understand that knowing that hell is chosen does not make salvation an easier. No, on the contrary, it just changes certain issues. The person should no longer be afraid of God who would put someone into hell. It is of himself or herself that the person ought to be most afraid, because in her or his total freedom, if she or he sins now, becomes used to such selfishness insidiously, making it the goal of her life, then it could well be that, faced with the power of this seduction of freedom from hell, she finishes by damning herself. The number of the damned souls is all the more worrying because when we look at the world today as it appears on the outside, we see that the values of humility and love are despised. That has always been the case. What is exalted is power and control. It is the fact of shining on stage in front of everyone. So the road of perdition is easy and wide. Does that mean that all these people who are heading towards such values of hell will be damned? Of course not. God has means to save poor sinners. Nonetheless, what is certain is that to believe that salvation is easy, which is to confuse ancient theology with a scholastic approach, a much more profound version of Saint Faustina.